We won't be able to hear that. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what's going on with that right now.
Yeah, I can't hear it, but I know it in my memory.
You know it in your memory.
Yeah. How plucky. Hi, everybody.
Salutations.
Hello.
Good morrow. Hi. Yeah. Back at it again. We have the whole podcast setup now.
We do. We're in the new studio in our new apartment.
It's all set up. We have a genuine wooden table that we can put our elbows on now. We have some mics and some little boards, and we have a little fun.
I have real monitoring headphones now, which to all the people who listen who also make podcasts, you can roll your eyes at the fact that I was not using monitoring equipment before this point.
We were literally trying to put everything through a singer-songwriter audio interface. So, nerds, you know what that means. It was bad.
Now I have dials to adjust my volume, and that's about all I will do at this point. That's the extent of my technical ability.
It should sound pretty good out of the box. We're really excited about all these new changes here. But first, let's say hey, hello, and welcome to Atlas Shrugged, the Avatar The Last Airbender podcast. I'm AJ.
I'm Kaylee.
We are at Season 2, Episode 3 of the original series, Avatar The Last Airbender. Kaylee has already seen it. She already knows what's going to happen. She is watching me haplessly wander into this situation, this storyline of Avatar, like a child sliding down an earthen slide.
He doesn't even get the memes. None of the memes make sense. But here we are.
I wish I got the memes.
But you've been to Omashu. We visited King Bumi once last season.
King Bumi is so good at what he does.
What does he do?
But he's a little aloof. He does king stuff.
If I could imitate his laugh, I would, but I won't do it justice. Okay.
It's feeble but lively. Anyway. Let's get right into it, huh?
Let's go.
So a lot's happened since we last spoke to you. It's been a pretty exciting time in the Avatar universe. I mean, there's so many projects going on right now, and then we have Netflix's live action Avatar adaptation. It seems to be coming along. We had 4 stars come out with their costumes, and show us a first look of what the live action Avatar looks like. They were still photographs, but we saw Aang, we saw Sokka, we saw Katara.
Those air nomads.
And then we saw those air nomads for a second. That didn't look like, to me, the air nomads did not look like a picture we were supposed to see.
No, that looked like a picture they took just of the cast together, right?
Yeah, right. And they have these very, very tall hats.
Very tall hats.
I mean, really tall.
And I'm assuming, unless, Netflix has really gone off the wall, that casting is just for Aang's memories.
That's wicked. Well, they're certainly putting their time into it, thought into it. They've been at it since 2021, I guess, filming that. Or at least pre-production. And that is wild to think of. What do you think? What do you think of the first look?
I mean, I am in full support of the writers who, I thought Legend of Korra was incredible. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about the later films they're now doing with Paramount Studios. I'm not that excited for the Netflix reboot. I think the cast is incredible. I think all of those people probably like Avatar. And at this point, they had better like Avatar. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like it's going to be hopefully better than M. Night Shyamalan's
Anything is better than M. Night Shyamalan's film.
But it's still just going to be the same story we already know. There's nothing new there.
Yeah.
I saw some, looking at pictures of the set, It looks like the cartoon just in real life, which to me is like just a little bit weird. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. I'm sure the performances are going to be great.
It's just like now you can guarantee if there's a successful animation, there's going to be a live action reboot because like the curiosity factor comes in. True fans want to at least see what it looks like. Meanwhile, Avatar Studios has a project for the OGs, Brian and Michael, who created the series. They're at the helm,
which I am much more excited for.
Yeah, it's gonna follow the characters like later in their life, later after the events of the OG series. It's like, you know, it's new content, a new story instead of a rehash, and that's at Paramount, and that seems pretty cool.
Which for big time fans like me, like the only pictures that we have seen of Team Avatar in adulthood came from some brief glimpses of them in Legend of Korra. So I'm super excited to have like a full-length feature film with this team. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah. And then here I was looking at all my video game news, and then an Avatar game just snuck up on me. That got announced at the end of June. It's coming out this fall.
Which I have such high hopes for. I tried like Burning Earth and the original Avatar: The Last Airbender game, which I think I was on Game Boy Advance. So it's just like I'm hoping with this Switch console release that the technology has caught up to what fans really wanted to be able to do with those powers. Like at the end of the day, you're playing on an Xbox or a Game Boy Advance and you don't feel like you're bending.
Right. You were, and those games, if I remember correctly, was just like hit A, hit B.
Yeah, Burning Earth was like ridiculously easy. It was like too easy.
What's exciting about this for me is that there's 2-player local co-op. Like, I don't know if it's split screen or if we share a screen. We don't know that much yet, but that is gonna be cool.
And that's coming out in the fall of this year, right?
Yes. Yeah, and it's coming out on like everything. So we'll make our decision about which platform to play it on. It's exciting. Some are saying it's a little underwhelming in the trailer, but like you said, I mean, I agree with that. I have high hopes.
High hopes. Look at all this Avatar news. The world is building.
The Avatar world is aflutter. The Avatar world is a Twitter.
Who
is alight. The Avatar world is aglow.
And our world has been kind of crazy. We were so excited, still are so excited to be in book 2, starting season 2 of the podcast.
Yeah.
We got 2 episodes in, and what do you know? We had an unexpected flooding of our apartment.
It's just our luck. I mean, at this point. So our apartment flooded. All the stuff that we used to record the podcast was just completely wiped out. But you know, really it's a blessing in disguise because it gave us a chance to upgrade, and hopefully this sounds better. And I certainly feel like better doing this. Like it's easier.
So much easier. You're not going to have to pause so much to like tell me to speak up or stop talking so loud. Well, or Kaylee, don't laugh directly into the microphone.
We weren't using the right stuff for it. That's all there was to it. We didn't have the right gear.
But now we got the gear.
The
passion is still here.
It is.
And are you ready to get into episode 3?
Yeah, let's get into it.
So we are at Return to Omashu, which at the end of episode 2, you saw, has been taken under siege by the Fire Nation.
And they want to go as far as to rename it. But we'll get to that later.
We'll get there. So, Team Avatar, they sneak into the city. Aang, Katara, Sokka, they climb through the sewers. I got a kick out of that little intro scene where, you know, Aang has now mastered water bending. No big deal. He's bending, Katara's bending, and
everybody's sewage bending.
Zero concern for bending the sewage around Sokka, who's just like swallowing mouthfuls of who knows.
If anybody actually got a disease, it was probably Sokka.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. But they climb out of the sewers. They've made it into the city. And what do you know? We have this cute little creature. I love the little hybrid and weirdo creatures in the Avatar universe. a purple Pentapox.
How do they get hooked up with the purple Pentapox? They linked up with the Resistance, right?
That comes a little bit later.
Oh, a little bit later. Okay, I got my timeline all mixed up.
It's okay. They climb out of the sewer. The little purple Pentapusses are just little sewer dwelling creatures.
Oh, yeah. And that's when the light bulb goes off.
Yeah, and this episode hits differently in this day and age than it did for me originally. So what do you know? These little octopus creatures, or not octopus, Pentapus, because they have 5 little legs. Leave little sucker spots on your skin when you pull them off. And
what a great excuse to call out sick, or to call in sick.
Or just get away from the Fire Nation soldiers who are trying to commandeer you in the street.
Yeah. They're like, hey guys, we've got this really great idea. It'll make you look like you're sick because we put sewer creatures on your head.
And I love that Katara jumps right to it. Like, she's quick with that lie. She's like, oh, he has Pentapox. And the rumor starts right there. The guy's like, oh my God, I think I've heard of that. Right? Didn't your cousin die of that? The
power of suggestion is very, very strong.
Spreads so quickly. So
it does. I mean, it's a highly contagious affliction.
Obviously.
I mean, it spread like that anyway.
So you remember why they are coming to the city in the first place?
To liberate it from the colonialists.
No.
No.
Aang needs an earthbending teacher. So they came looking for King Boomy.
Of course, yeah, they need King Boomy. Boomy is like their best lead as to like who's going to teach him earthbending.
Right. It's like the one earthbender that Aang knows who's alive. He's old as heck, but he's still alive and he's the best earthbender they know.
Rolodex, he's like, Boomy. He's not busy, right? He's just like the king.
Just
he
the
probably
king.
Has a little time to spare.
But the city's under siege, and they can't find Boomy right away. So we run into the first of Princess Azula's recruits. We don't know that she's a recruit yet, but Miss Gothic May.
I was just going to say, she is goth.
She's so goth.
She's goth as heck.
She's got those huge sleeves and mega bangs and is displeased by everything.
So, like, how everyone was when I went to high school.
Yeah, probably. So they...
Listening to My Chemical Romance.
Everybody listened to My Chemical Romance.
Mm-hmm. Buddy. That's a niche reference. So there was, it was really, this has nothing to do with anything. I think just because I got new microphones on the brain. But with that whole movement of music came this very like reckless, destructive, like fad in like performing rock on stage, where you would you'd take the microphone by its cord and you'd windmill it around just to like show how cool you were. Many mics were destroyed.
Did everybody do that, or just people like you who performed on stage?
If your bangs were the longest part of your hair, you did that.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
And my bangs were the longest portion of the hair on my head.
Did you also wear Jenko jeans?
The Jenko jeans came before.
Okay.
But the Jenko jeans, I mean, were there, and the memory of the Jenko jeans was imbued.
Eternal.
In those moments. It was seemingly baked into those halcyon days.
So, they encounter May walking along with the governor, her father, mother, some other Fire Nation people in tow. The Resistance, we learn about.
Meanwhile,
because we see the rocks tumbling down their, like, I don't know, transport system. They roll some boulders down.
They're literally underground.
The Earthbenders are trying to take back their city. They roll some boulders, hoping it'll smush the Fire Nation people below.
But there's a defeated energy about them. It's a little bit like they know what they're up against, right?
Yeah, that they are outnumbered They're out fire-powered, I guess.
Firepower.
But Aang, being the Avatar, sees some boulders rolling down a hill, and he airbends and tries to save them. Because he's a good dude. He doesn't want anybody to get smushed. But that is when May yells out, "The Resistance!" And they just take off after him. May, who we quickly learn is not a bender because she's like out of those giant sleeves just flinging arrows. I don't know how she does that. What kind of device do you think she has under those sleeves?
She probably just took a Nerf gun apart and was like,
pew, pew, pew.
pew, pew, pew. Right. But, okay, so you see a fighting ethos. What do they call it? A jing? A sing? A zing? What do they call the tenets of fighting later in the episode?
Jing.
Jing. I was so close.
Yeah, we learn all about
jings?
Yep.
And zings.
Positive jing, neutral jing, negative jing.
But there is like an unwitting jing on display there because she throws her little knives. And what's the retaliation? Nothing. Literally, Katara's only motivation there is to defend herself.
Right. She just freezes a little wall of water.
Right.
They're not trying to attack them. They're just trying to get away.
We come in peace. Kind of.
And May starts to catch up to them. Almost hits Aang in the face with one of her little throwing stars. Gets lodged in his glider. And then it is the Resistance, the Earthbending Resistance, that saves them. Just takes away the floor, pulls them underground.
They must have been watching the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when are they going to screw up? Okay.
And that's when Team Avatar, they get away, they meet the Resistance, and learn, much to Aang's confusion, I think.
The word is chagrin. The word is chagrin.
Well, he's not. It doesn't matter.
The word is chagrin.
The word is chagrin.
The word is jing.
So.
The word is lamentation.
I think the Earthbenders are chagrined that
They're
King
chagrined.
Bumi evidently didn't want to do anything, didn't defend the city. So when the Fire Nation took over, one of the Earthbenders who seems to be the leader of the Resistance says, King Bumi looked me right in the face and said, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to do nothing. And in the eyes of his people, abandoned them to the wants of the Fire Nation.
Which is interesting because you would think that some of that Earth Nation vibe was like baked in to the culture of the city, that people would just walk around with that Earth Nation swagger, that namaste attitude, but no, it's kind of a, it's high stakes. They're getting taken over, and the Resistance feels like they've been walked all over.
100%.
Yeah.
They feel like they were abandoned by their leader in their greatest time of need.
Hey, in their defense, his general aura does not inspire confidence.
Boomies?
No, yeah, exactly.
What? You don't think he's a clear-headed, even-keel individual?
If he was my leader, I would not be calm.
Yeah. I'd
have questions.
I would have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't know a lot about the Earth Nation royalty system at this point. We know that Bumi is king. We don't know why he's king because I'm guessing he wasn't an elected position. But with that in mind, Aang is like, you guys are outnumbered. We don't have enough power. You guys don't need to stay here and die. You can leave. That's another option.
And another option is kidnapping.
Well, we'll get there, won't we? So Sokka takes charge at this point because he's the master planner. I love that he just jumps right in and tells everybody, you're about to come down with a nasty case of Pentapox. So they round up all the octopuses from the sewers. They give everybody the little sucker marks. And I love the little training session where Sokka's like, you really got to sell it. And there's like the old man with a peg leg.
He's like, I've been selling this for years. I've been on Earth Nation welfare for... Is that mean? That's mean.
That might be mean.
Okay, we'll cut that out. We'll cut that out later.
Anyway, so everybody comes down with a bad case of Pentapox. The thousands of them, like zombies, just literally walk out of the city. The governor of the new city
Good strategy.
stands overhead like, what do we do? And again, the power of suggestion. He's like, one of the guards tells them, oh, it's Pentapox. And even the governor is like, oh, I think I've heard of that. Like, let them all out. So they literally just open the doors, let all of the citizens, Earth Nation citizens, out of the city.
Meanwhile, the royalty goes to self-isolate.
Yeah. What a weird world we live in. So, unintentionally, Momo, I feel like there's so much motion in this episode. Like, they had to create a lot of things in the writing to get people to go where they needed them to.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Momo was hungry. He like grabs Aang's mouth when they're all leaving.
When is Momo not hungry?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably always hungry.
Momo be chomping.
So he takes it into his own hands. Little Momo flies off, finds some berries, and unfortunately, a little Earth Nation toddler.
Just finds him.
Toddler.
It's a little bonus.
Follows him out a window, falls off of a roof, and then what happens? Momo tries to get away. The kid falls down a series of slides and chutes and grabs Momo's tail, and accidentally, this little Fire Nation child ends up with all of the escaped Earth Nation citizens. Omashu.
Omashu is like a theme park. If I was a kid of any age, I would be so excited to cruise around Omashu.
Yeah, you can like see the incredible infrastructure and technology that the Earth Nation has. You can see why the Fire Nation would want to take over. Like, their systems of trade and transport are unparalleled to everything else we've seen in this world so far.
They should put that, you know how the towns have like in normal real life have like, welcome to this town. And then it has like a town slogan. Omashu should be, welcome to Omashu. A little dirt never hurt.
That should just be the Earth Nation
Brought
slogan.
to you by the City of Omashu Tourism Board.
Except I think that we will learn soon that even a little dirt can hurt, but I won't jump ahead in the series.
Thank you.
So, meanwhile, there's Princess Azula, who we don't even see Zuko and Iroh in this episode.
Right.
So, antagonist role falls entirely onto Azula.
Is this a foreshadowing of things to come?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Don't say any more than that.
Okay. So what we know is Zuko and Iroh are still on the run.
Exiled. Right.
Azula is hunting them, and she's told by the twin grandmas of the Fire Nation who sit on either side of her on the ship.
The golden girls of the Fire Nation, if you will.
Yes, twin golden gals. They let her know that the full royal procession might not be the best way to travel. It's a lot of attention. And it's not very inconspicuous. No
it is,
incognito.
In fact, very conspicuous.
Very conspicuous.
It is, in fact, very cognito.
She is traveling with all of the appearance of royalty in tow. She can't do that if she expects to actually find people. So what she decides is, I'm going to need a nimble team. A small elite
I'm going to outsource it.
Team. So she travels once to a circus where we meet Ty Lee. And Funny.
Ty Lee seems too jovial to be mixed up with all them.
And isn't it interesting? Like, we already don't like Azula, like crazy vibes. Okay. She's very intense. She's
unhinged.
got blue fire, which I would assume means like it's burning hotter than other people's firebending. We already see her power. She's a little bit unhinged. Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem to worry about hurting others and seems to like to toy with people.
She'll do anything for power.
And I thought that was funny. Literally this past week, we just went to Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, that was so cool.
So it was cool to jump into
acrobats.
This. Yeah.
We saw, circus performers live, and it was sweet. It was a really cool show. If you have never seen Cirque du Soleil, I understand why people like it so much.
It was very cool.
Check it out.
And so to see Ty Lee, what does she say? Like, my aura has never been pinker. Princess Azula goes to recruit her, and here's this like peppy acrobat performer, girly girl, who seems to be her friend. They went to the Royal Fire Academy for Girls together.
They go way back.
So she's obviously nobility as well, and tells Azula, like, sorry, but I'm happy here. I think had you seen platypus bears before that point?
She seems like the type that would be happy anywhere. No, I hadn't seen platypus bears anywhere.
So the platypus bear just like lays an egg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Azula's like, I'm not sure that our very rich parents sent us to the Royal Fire Academy so that you could do this.
You're right.
And she's like, I love it here. My aura's never been pinker. Like, it's fine. So Azula...
on Wednesdays, we wear pink.
She obviously has, like, diplomacy, right?
Yeah.
Right? She says, I'm just going to stay and watch your show. And
she's asserting it at all costs.
Yeah. And then intimidation sets in. Like,
yeah.
Wouldn't it be better without the net? Yeah, you're right. That's been done. Light it on fire and let all of the animals go.
Anything for leverage. And we see a little more of that later in this episode, too.
And that's when Ty Lee later, Azula brings her flowers, and she's like, the universe is telling me, actually, I do need to join your team. So the intimidation worked.
Yeah.
Ty Lee is part of the elite team. And then they meet with May, who we met earlier in the episode. But now we've got Peppy Pep, Goth Gal, and Azula.
Who's the alpha.
So tell me what you think of those three.
I don't think that alliance is going to last. It makes no sense. Somebody is going to... It's obviously Azula who's running the show. But... I feel like they're going to splinter off. I don't know if I'm like way off base on that, but I feel like that's not going to last.
I was just curious about it. And isn't it interesting that Azula, she needs a small elite team and she picks 2 people who are not firebenders?
That is interesting. But it also does she pick them because they're not a threat?
I don't know, does she?
I don't know.
There seems to be loyalty there, whether it's friendship from their school days, whether it's because she's a princess and they have to. Who knows? Yeah. But they jump right into action. When Team Avatar shows up...
They're on board for now.
They send a letter. They're going to do a prisoner exchange between little Tom, I think is the baby's name.
That's his name.
And King Boomy. They're going to do an exchange. They have to meet in person. And then as soon as Team Avatar does that, they bring the baby. Azula is at her games, at her tricks. She's
up to no good.
Is it even a fair trade? A king? A powerful earthbending king?
That was in her head the whole time, though. She's just playing mind games with everyone.
Yes. Absolutely. But I was struck... And still am struck every time by May just conceding immediately. That's her baby brother. That's her little actual baby brother. And Azula's just like, is it a fair trade? And May's like, you're right.
It's gonna be May. Sorry, going off the rails here.
And then in classic Avatar fashion, we have the chase.
The chase. The action.
So Sokka blows the silent bison whistle, calls Appa. Katara takes on two at once with her waterbending. And then what I think is like one of the most interesting parts of the episode, Ty Lee, the acrobat, comes in, does some quick jabs, hitting pressure points, and suddenly Katara can't bend.
That is some advanced martial artistry.
Which I won't even tell you why that's so significant, because it won't even happen in this series. But that's super significant.
Can I tell you that when I was a kid, I heard about like a martial arts strike. Like if you struck somebody, like I think it's on your neck, like in just the right way. Like somebody on the playground told me like, oh, if you strike somebody on their neck in just the right way, like they'll just die instantly. And from that point on, I was so irrationally scared of one of my third grade enemies like coming up and being like, judo chop. And I'm like, Bryant, you know not what you do.
So someone told you that if someone hits your neck just right, you might just die, and then you spent the rest of your childhood being afraid that one
not
of your
whole time, not like my entire childhood, but whenever I would think of it, I'd be like looking around the playground like, does BJ Detweiler know something I don't? Does he have access to the codex? I know he has home internet access.
Would you have been the target? You're so worried about being the target of the judo shop.
Hey, it'd get me out of gym class.
So is that what was happening as you saw Ty Lee attacking Katara?
As soon as Kylie started doing that, I was like, oh, that's that thing.
So Katara can't bend.
Somehow I made it this far.
But it's quick, and that moment always makes me so proud because, as you guys probably know by now, I'm a huge Sokka fangirl. I love Sokka.
What, you?
Oh. So May's like, what are you going to do without your bending? And Sokka literally just like rides in on Appa, throws his boomerang, knocks stuff out of their hands. He's like, I seem to do fine.
In clutch. For somebody who doesn't have any bending powers, Sokka is so resourceful, always coming in clutch.
He's a warrior of the Southern Water Tribe, okay?
He is a warrior of my heart.
Aw.
And if you tell them about the tattoo.
Oh, yeah. So I want to get a tattoo.
Uh-huh.
I've been thinking about it for a long time. And I really wanted to do something Avatar related, but it not be like, arrows or something so obvious.
You don't want a big arrow on your forehead?
Yeah, probably not.
It would go really well with the teardrop you have underneath your eye.
I don't have that, guys. Okay.
It's filled in. You know what that means.
Careful now.
What?
So I also didn't want to do just like the symbol of the Earth Nation or I didn't want it to be so quickly recognizable as Avatar. Not because I'm not a proud fan, but because I wanted like big fans to be the people who recognize it.
Yeah, fan tattoos. Like, if they're really obvious, they invite conversation from everyone. And who has time?
Yeah. So, you're going to have to get on Google Images or whatever. Ask ChatGPT.
Ask Jeeves. Ask Bing.
Don't ask Bing. You'll get viruses quickly.
No, like, literally, I pulled up Bing when we were setting up this new computer that we're recording this podcast on. And I clicked on like the fourth result for like a really innocent Avatar search. And it was like, bam, viruses, bam, McAfee. And it wasn't like real viruses. It was just like a weird like pop-up thing that was like supposed to scare me. But it's like, come on, Bing.
Yeah, it's like if pop-ups can shatter the ability of Windows 11 to be able to work. Like the whole computer screen just froze. Wouldn't let you click out of anything. Bing, fix the problem. Anyway, what I'm going to do for my tattoo
Yes.
is the symbol that is on Princess Yue's necklace that is like the moon spirit. I'm going to get that. Not on the center of my throat, but I'm going to get the symbol that's on her necklace.
You're going to tattoo a tattoo necklace on
some other part of my body, probably my forearm. Because I'm also a Cancer and I'm ruled by the moon spirit.
You're going to get a 24 karat gold chain tattooed.
Okay, gold
with
color.
an iced out moon spirit logo.
Do you want me to tattoo the center of my throat? It's not like you have necessarily a choice in the matter, but is that really what you want?
I mean, I think it's on brand. I think that it really, it suits you. You know, it shows the world, listen, I'm Kaylee. I will knock the teeth out of your head.
Yeah, really.
If you look at me
brand.
wrong. Yeah, that's you. That's you to a T.
Look, you're afraid of a judo chop to the throat. I'm not letting someone come with a needle that for an extended period of time on my throat. Okay, forearm is good with me, but it will be Princess Yue's moon spirit.
Not gonna get a full sleeve. I'm gonna get an Appa full sleeve.
Just a very an elongated appa on your arm.
We're still in the planning stages, but yes.
Okay. Can't wait to see that. So, let's return to the episode.
Whoa, we're off the rails here.
The chase. Katara, Aang get away on Appa. No, that's incorrect.
No.
Katara and Sokka get away on Appa. Aang breaks King Boomy's the chain that is holding his weird coffin-like imprisonment.
Which, paired with the fake disease, is a pretty striking image for a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. So they take to the chutes and are running away from Princess Azula, who is spitting blue fire like crazy. It's a great chase scene. It's a great chase scene.
Good chase scene.
But then we learn that... what the heck? Boomy has been able to bend this entire time.
Right. But he is exercising his Jing.
That's what we learn. He just literally flicks his chin up. Discontinued. Azula knows she can no longer pursue. And then Aang is like, what the heck, dude?
He's like, I still have my head. And he does that level of earthbending that saves his hide. With just his chin.
And that's when we learn about neutral Jing. Boomy asks Aang, do you know about Jing? And he's like, yes, there's positive Jing and negative Jing. And he's
Caramel apple Jing. Toffee Jing.
There's also neutral Jing.
Mint chip Jing. With gummy worms.
What's your Jing?
I've been trying to settle on that ever since we saw that scene. I'm serious. I think my Jing. If we're sticking with ice cream flavors, it's Moose Tracks Jing. You know, a little salty, a little sweet.
That makes perfect sense for you. See,
it's a good flavor.
And it's not that I am not a proactive person, but this is the episode that for me solidified that I am an earthbender, even though everything in my
You're a total earthbender.
My star charts says I should be a waterbender. I am a neutral Jing person. I like to wait and watch and observe and before I make a decision on most things.
You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when the Jing is red hot. Move dirt with chins. You never trade that, baby. When King Boomy's in a coffin, doesn't happen often. But when it does, you'll know. Ba-dum-bum.
So
we're basically this whole episode basically sets up for. I feel I'm anticipating a climax in the next episode.
Oh my goodness. Next episode is one of my favorite episodes just for the artwork alone. It's beautiful. And I can't wait to watch it with you.
But I can't wait to watch it with you.
What we learned, Boomy has to stay with his city and like be a king, even though everybody thinks he's just not being a king. He is. We know that he is.
Yes.
So he says you're going to have to find another earthbending teacher and one who waits and listens. And that's all we know for now.
So mysterious.
Do 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 do.
Well, cool. Well, we'll watch the next episode here pretty soon.
Thanks for bearing with us in the interim, and thanks for joining us for this episode. Can't wait to go into the woods with you next time.
We're going to go deep into the woods. We're going to find some buried treasure. And perhaps some moose tracks.
Who knows what we'll find in the swamp. Okay.
There's no telling.
Guys, thanks for joining us. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm AJ. And you've been listening to
Atlas Shrugged, the Avatar The Last Airbender podcast.
the cool one.
The one with two married people talking about it.
We'll see you next time.